Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and this is the 37th episode of the Wheneverly Update, and is also probably going to be the last one. But before I get into that, let me just go ahead and say sorry if I sound kind of tired and stopped up. One, as you've probably heard during the Let's Plays and the podcast, I've had some pretty bad congestion for the past really month, maybe even couple of months. And also, two, I got off of work a little while ago. It's 5 a.m. right now. I get off at like 1 a.m., but, because I work so much and I get home pretty late and I sleep until it's time to go and get up and go to work, I end up staying up later, which I guess isn't really that different than what I was doing before, but anyway, that's not important. So yeah, that's why my voice sounds strange. I tried to kind of pump it up a little bit with some liquid of the drink kind, but yeah, this will probably be the last Wheneverly update because I was doing the blogs for a while, and these are like my vlogs, and I'm actually working on another blog homepage like thing that's going to be replacing my main website Roleplay World that I stopped updating after like forever. And since that's going to be sort of a blog as well, I don't really want to I don't want to be like sacrificing the opportunity to do how should I put this? I'm trying to find basically if I write a blog, I'm not going to want to do a Wheneverly update because I'll just be repeating myself. Because a lot of the stuff of what I talk about in the Wheneverly updates are the same stuff that I talk about in my blog. The main difference is that the Wheneverly updates versus the blogs are the Wheneverly updates are more like a collection of different things. Like I usually wait until I have a lot of stuff to talk about, usually by accident, and then I end up talking about like a lot of stuff that I've done as of late. Like this one's going to be covering like a few semesters of stuff, as well as some news articles that I'll get into that I'll probably go into more detail about during the blog entry, just to kind of keep everybody up to speed. But yeah, so that's the main reason why. Plus, the last Wheneverly update was like I think at the least at least a year ago. Whereas they used to be more frequent before I was doing the blog, but when I started doing my live journal, they became less frequent because it's like I was just repeating myself. And so I feel like for like actual like updates on what I'm doing, unless you guys really want like a podcast like vloggy thing, which I can always do, that I'll probably like just restructure it. It'll probably be like a webcam thing or something, but yeah, that's that. This will probably be the last one, and blog is coming. I've been doing a lot more writing. I'm working on Kenra, of course, working on chapter 4 of this however long it's going to be book. I've also been working on another story that's like a good 20 pages longer than Kenra. Kenra currently is like 30-something pages. This other story is like 50-something pages, which is funny because I've been writing it out of order and just sort of in chunks. And I've not only been thinking about a novel that I'd be writing after I finish Kenra, but also a potential sequel to Kenra. So I'm already getting like the novelist mentality thing, like, oh, I've got so many ideas, but more on that later, I guess, if I have anything to say. I don't think I've pretty much covered that already, though I guess I should probably cover some stuff that you guys probably want or were a little surprised I didn't talk about. Like, yes, I know about Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. I've talked about it on the podcast, which I will put a link to, because I know not every subscriber I have listens to the podcast. But yeah, Resurrection F, for those who don't know, is the English version of Dragon Ball Z Revival of F, and got some voice cast announcements. It's coming to theaters in the summer of 2015, specifically August 4th to the 12th, which I'm glad they announced it later in the year, because then it's not going to really conflict with anything. Because I'll have my summer semester starting, which goes into like near the beginning of August, but I'll still have some time for it if I can't make it in like the early August. And of course, if it had started up earlier, I would have had to deal with work, which that would have been a pain. But yeah, I'm excited for it, and again, listen to the podcast, and I've already done like videos talking about like I've already done videos like hyping it, so like yeah, and of course I already know about the whole Tales of Zestiria English dub and dual audio announcement. There was that whole video. English cast seems fine. We have some ideas on who it is. I think some people think that Meekleo is going to be Scott Menvale, or voiced by Scott Menvale, but it kind of sounds like that. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, that's cool. And then of course there's the Samurai Warriors 4-2 that got recently announced for North America, which I talked about on the podcast again. All these articles I've talked about on the podcast, so yeah, so looking forward to that. I'm probably gonna get the PS4 version, so. And yeah, that's cool. And anything else from that I've already kind of talked about in the Samurai Warriors TV anime review that I did, but that's not important. Why don't we talk about some of the other stuff that I've been up to? Let's start with the anime I've been watching. The first anime I'm going to talk about is No Game No Life, which was the first show like that we were watching like 2 years ago in Anime Club. It was one of our quote unquote ongoings. It was okay. To be perfectly honest, I don't really like the neat sort of teenage angst characters. I know they're not really that angsty, but I think part of it is just because I really don't like teenagers in stories. But this show I felt like was more tolerable because, you know, at first they kind of came off to me as a bit snobbish, and I didn't really the whole recluse gamer thing, but you know, they really showed their skill in like solving puzzles and whatnot throughout the story with the different games they play, which are pretty interesting in of themselves. And there was a little bit of incest that I didn't really like between the main guy and his sister. Like they kissed at one point to kind of save oxygen. I'm just like, clearly fan service. But you know, there were two lesbians who I liked as well, and Stephanie, one of the females, she was all right. But another thing I kind of liked about it was the general look of the show. Like the art was very very bright and kind of shiny. Like it kind of looked like a fantasy world, and because of that, it was actually really pleasant to look at. So I enjoyed it. It was decent. And the theme song was really nice, and it kind of seemed like it could continue, because I never did play a game against that godly character, but it's been a while, so I actually had to look at my blog, like, okay, what did I think about it? I guess it's pretty sad when you have to kind of look up your own opinion, but yeah, it was a decent show. The next show we watched, the second one, was Black Bullet. It's pretty similar to Attack on Titan, I think, in the terms of like the monsters killing people and whatnot, and the apocalyptic world, and like fighting for survival. The theme song, it's a little similar. It's by Fripside, but it's still a good song, and the main character, Rentaro Satome, or Satomi Rentaro, or whatever, he's voiced by Yuki Kaji, who happens to do Eren Yeager. But at first I couldn't really tell. Like, he does a pretty good job of really playing the character, as opposed to making it just another Eren Yeager yelly voice. But it was good. It was more sci-fi, though it did have some weaponry and martial arts, and I thought that was pretty cool. The whole thing with the little girls, like, it on some level it kind of seemed a bit loli-ish, like trying to cater to the loli crowd by making like this group of people who are like half Gestrea and half human. Not, well, they have a little bit of Gestrea in them, or whatever, and made them like little girls. I mean, I'm probably just over criticizing it, but And there were some sad moments where, like, when Rentaro has to kill that one chick. That was actually pretty sad. And it was a good show, and I feel like it could definitely continue onward a little bit. I had to actually step out during the last episode because I got a phone call that I needed to take, but I was able to see one of the final scenes, like where they show the one chick with the sailor uniform and the sword, and she confronts her brother and like she cuts his leg off, but then like she does like this technique which makes him like explode, and she had like this intense look on her face, and I almost felt kind of challenged. Like I almost felt like if I were Rentaro, I'd be like, "Bitch, you better back off." Like I don't know, and I felt like it would have been interesting to see it continue, and who knows, maybe it will. I haven't done any research on the actual series itself, like the source material, if it's even based on anything. I think it's based off of a manga or a light novel, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty decent. One character in particular, I don't remember his name, but he's an old friend of Rentaro, and he's voiced by Shinichiro Miki. He actually did a pretty good job. He kind of reminds me of his Deishu Kaiki voice, except not as sort of I don't give a crap kind. Like he had more emotion to him, but it was still a really nice voice. I actually really liked it. He did quite a good job, and it's a decent show. I would recommend it. I think it's supposed to be getting a dub too. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, it was decent. And that was those were the two shows I watched like a couple of years ago in Anime Club. But one show that I was watching on my own on like Crunchyroll was Girlfriend Beta, which as you can probably tell, you know, I mainly watched it because the school uniforms were cute. I like the designs. I sort of like the combination of like the Western like blouse and tie with the blazer. Though here the jackets kind of look like they're designed from the sailor uniforms, I guess. And the theme song's kind of catchy. Like there's one part where it's like Daisuki na character. I actually really like that part for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's sung in character by like the girl band who they sometimes do stuff. But speaking of the uniforms, though, one thing I do like about the show, like, not all the characters wear the uniform the same. Like, honestly, obviously, the main girl, Sheena, she kind of wears it the most formal, like, top button done up. Doesn't customize the uniform in any way. She wears it in, like, the quote-unquote trademark model way. Some girls wear, like, regular ties. Some of them, they'll put, like, pins or buttons on their uniform. And they'll have their top button undone. A few characters actually do that. Two characters in particular are like practically not even wearing the uniform. Like they both wear like yellow shirts, like golden shirts, as opposed to like the white ones. And I find that interesting that that's what they were kind of going for. Like, why yellow? And I just find it interesting that there are two characters who kind of like made like a customized version. I guess that's allowed in some school. Some schools, plural. But it's interesting. It really was, and the story may not have been that complex. I feel like this was more of those don't think shows, just kind of a show for those who kind of want something to kind of. It's more about the franchise itself that it's based off of, the Girlfriend Beta iOS smartphone game. Rather than trying to tell like this deep story. I mean, it had a bit of a plot to it, like Sheena, she's a gymnast and she was preparing for like her big performance, and she was nervous about it and she wanted to lose weight and whatnot. Like that was a pretty good one, though. They get through it pretty quickly. Like within like a few episodes, it's already done, and Sheena meets a girl named Chloe. And they become friends. And Chloe's all like, one day I'll do something nice for you. You just let me know. And it would have been interesting if they played off of that and did like a friendship story, which they kind of come back to in the last couple of episodes. And the last couple episodes are, like with Chloe, like she hears she misunderstands some Japanese like traditions for New Year's, and so she tells her dad, and her dad is all like, "You got to go out of Japan. Let's go back to France or whatever, wherever they're from." And it's kind of funny. I didn't get the joke, but there was one part where he started speaking because he comes to Japan, and he starts talking, and all the girls just have like this look on their face. I'd have to watch it again because I feel like if he's talking in broken Japanese, I can probably pick up on it just by the way it sounds, because I've heard so much Japanese from watching these freaking subtitled shows that like I feel like I can tell when something's not what it usually is, though not necessarily. I mean, like I said earlier, I kind of completely bypassed it. I'm just like, wait, why are you guys surprised? Are you surprised that he knows Japanese really, really well? Or are you sort of flabbergasted at his broken Japanese? I would say probably the former, because it'd be a funny contrast since Chloe kind of talked and she didn't completely know Japanese, kind of like Karen from Kinoro Mosaic, which I've been watching the second season of, which I'll talk to about in the future. So she messes up like Japanese sayings, which they correct her. So they being the other characters, but I don't know. And there were the other episodes were more self-contained ones. Like there was one episode about this writer chick who's trying to write the story and she's pressured into finishing it. Another story about what else? About like these working girls or something. Like once about like this band. Another one about like them trying to make costumes like festivals. It's kind of funny how the focus, like the protagonists of each episode, are separate and new characters, but they all kind of mingle together anyway, and they hang out they like ask for help by the different clubs. It's kind of interesting. And there's one about like they need to study for their midterms or whatever. It's an interesting show. I saw this one review where someone said it's so boring, but I feel like the main point is to kind of show the characters interacting with each other and introduce them, because this is one of those series that has like a lot of characters. It's not just called Sheena the Gymnast Extraordinaire or goes on her journey to save the universe or whatever. It's called Girlfriend Beta. It's about like the different girls. Like it's about more than just one character. And because of that, the episodes need to focus on other characters. I heard there was supposed to be an extra OVA and something. I might have to do some more research on some of these shows, because like with Black Bullet, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to. It might continue. I think I heard No Game No Life was going to continue, and Girlfriend Beta. Like I would watch it again. That would be fun. I'd watch it again, for funsies, or I'd watch the second season. Heck, I'd watch a dub. Heck, Love Live is getting a dub. So, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Love Live is getting a dub, so I'll probably have to buy that. But it's a decent show. Or this was. I liked it at least, and of course I'm not too hard to please. Heck, with all these action-y sort of psychological stories I keep taking in, and I keep taking in more actual good stories, so it's kind of nice to take in a story that, while it may not necessarily be as plot-driven as other stories are, I feel like it still kind of has a pretty strong story element, which is, the characters, and it's more about what they were doing, and the way it was structured, it could potentially continue for a long time, up until they all graduate. I feel like that would be the perfect time for it to end, but it was a good show. I liked it. Now, another show that we tried to watch in between two other shows we were watching, which I'm going to talk about both now and later on. I'm going to talk about this show again because we actually didn't finish it, but we tried to watch Danganronpa, the animation. We were trying to squeeze it in as a third. It was like a last minute thing too. Like they were all like, "Oh, hey, let's watch this," because we have our ongoings, but we also have random shows that we show, like one episode of each. And on rare occasions, we will show an extra show. Like one year, we actually watched Inferno Cop. So, and now I know Crunchyroll has it, and there was supposed to be a second season. And so we try to squeeze it in. Technically a fourth because we were also trying to watch Tokyo Ghoul, but I didn't stay for that. And we really only got to like episode 3. And the mystery elements of the show is actually pretty interesting, and the atmosphere with it, being trapped in the school, it kind of makes you wonder exactly what's going on. And it makes you wonder like what's going to happen, because it's kind of funny, even though they kind of hang out with each other a little bit and do stuff. I get the impression that everyone's still kind of isolated. And the school seems very large as well, so it's like, anything can happen. Because, the premise, like, if no one kills each other, like, you'll all graduate if you stay alive. And, like, the Monokuma, or Kuma, or whatever his name is, that, like, weird black and white bear, is, like, trying to provoke people into killing each other. And what's her name? The chick with the despair chick. I can't remember her freaking. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I saw that I was actually kind of sad that she was like one of the first people to die. Isn't it like Yoko or something, or Aiko, or it's something Ko? I know that much. Dangan. Whoops. Anyway, another thing I liked about it. This is just kind of. This is more of my opinion, but their outfits, I liked how they were all unique, yet they all kind of looked like a version of like school uniform. Like what's her? I can't remember any of the characters' names. I remember Chihiro, who's like the trap, quote unquote. But Kyoko, I believe her name is. She wears what looks like a button-up shirt, but it's actually a zip-up shirt. And I assume she has like the collar part kind of like bent down to where it looks like an actual collar. It's actually kind of unique. And Byakuya, he's one of the other ones who's kind of wearing like a uniform-like thing. And Toko, she does her thing. And one thing that kind of, like, if there's a character named Hagakure, and I'm just like, really? Friggin' really? Are you shitting me? His name is Hagakure. Like, I kept seeing, I'm like, shouldn't you be preaching about the way of the samurai? I don't know if that was, intentional or not, but yeah, Chihiro, she's the, she was the boy who dressed like, she was actually kind of cute, and I liked her. He's the one who is kind of wearing probably the most uniform like. Of course, he's trying to dress up as a girl, so of course he's going to wear a girl's uniform. And I got sad when he died. Leon, I liked him, but mainly just because he's voiced by Takahiro Sakurai, and he had red hair, so he was pretty cool. Oh, Junko, that's her name, Junko. Yeah, she's the one who died it. But I really liked I like it, and I might try to watch it on my own. I know Funimation is dubbing it. There's a bit of a hubbub. That's dubbing. There's a bit of a hubbub about them really only getting Bryce Papenbrook as Makoto, as opposed to getting the rest of the cast. Which, I mean, I guess I can kind of see, because some of these voice actors might be kind of hard to get, but it's nice. And they really probably only had Bryce Papenbrook just because of Attack on Titan and any other show they happen to have him with. Like, I don't know, but it was interesting. It was. I feel like this show's gonna kill off all my favorite characters. I don't think I have any more of those. The only because spoilers, obviously, for those who haven't seen it, but they killed off Leon and Junko and Chihiro. So my favorites died, and of course they kill off the characters who are found guilty. So I really am interested, kind of, in how it I don't know. I just think it's gonna be really interesting, and of course there are probably other people who've already seen it already, which I'm sure I know this series is actually kind of old-ish, but it'll be a nice show to watch, and I'm gonna try to. At least I do have my source. I might just wait for the dub or something. I don't know, or just wait until like they put it on Netflix. I'll check if it's on Netflix, because if it's on Netflix, I'll just watch it there. But probably on the TV as well. But any rate, that's all the anime that I'm going to talk about this time, because for the rest of the anime, I'm going to start doing more anime reviews as I see fit. Some of these I might not be able to do as a full video, or if I do, they'll be like super short and kind of baseless. Like, they won't have, not baseless, but like they won't have too much review part. It'll be like, did I like it or did I not? But like, I will go ahead and say that the shows we did watch an Anime Club this past semester were Garo the Animation and Parasite the Maxim, and I'm going to give both of them their own video, because I have a fair amount to say on both. And of course, I'm trying to watch Dragon Ball Z Kai, the final chapters, or the Majin Buu arc, whatever you want to call it, as well as Saint Seiya Soul of Gold, and more OG Saint Seiya as well. I'm at Asgard, but that's not important right now. What is important is the games that I've been playing. This obviously games that I've done videos on. Yeah, I've been playing those as well, but these are more like just tiny stuff I've been playing. I'm going to start off with probably the lamest one, and that's Sonic Dash on the iPhone. I've been playing a lot of that. Besides Fruit Ninja, it might be one of my favorite phone games. It's just really fun and really easy to play. That's like, phone games to me are like super casual. So like, if you just want to kind of play something quick while you're on the toilet taking a poo-poo or dropping a duty, whatever you like to say. But I like it, and I got Knuckles finally, so I liked it. I also bought the first Gex game off of GOG.com, Good Old Games, because I saw they had it, and I was doing some research on the first Gex game, because I've played Enter the Gecko and Deep Cover Gecko, Deep Cover being my favorite, and I wanted to play the first one, but I heard that like the console versions, or at least the PS1 version, was ported, and I'm kind of iffy on ports now. I don't know why. Like, as you guys saw, I got Mortal Kombat X on the PS4, because the PS3 version, the 360 version that's coming out later in the summer, are ported by the Injustice people, which I'm sure it'll be good, but I wanted to play it safe. So I got the PC version. And I like it okay. I feel like I'd probably like it more if I had a controller. Which I'm sure I can probably set it up. I don't know if I have to use like XPad or some sort of other software to play it. But my Logitech controller, it comes with like a profile mapping software, so I can definitely use it, and I'll definitely give it a try. It's a fun little game. I was playing it with the keyboard, and I kind of found it a little hard to control because I just wasn't used to it. So, but yeah, and I also found a digital version of A Titanic Adventure Out of Time, which is this old childhood game that my entire family, except for my dad, used to play. My two sisters and my mom used to play it with me, and I played it as well, though I was always scared of the music. Mainly it's because there's this Let's Play that I keep watching every now and then, and there's this fan blog that's like dedicated to it and it has a bunch of info on it. And then I heard about this one there was this one art guy named Daniel. I forget his last name, but he started a website where it's like a online like digital version of it, and he also had an offline version, like saying here's how you do it. And he did it using this thing called it's an OpenGL version of DOSBox, which I actually really like because it makes DOSBox a lot easier to use and probably in theory more customizable. Like, and as far as games go, like you can put them in like through like this wizard thing, and they're like packs you have to download. And so I got it, and I was able to run it on my Windows 7 laptop because, you know, I have the original. I had to make a burned copy of the second disc because I lost it, but it still works because I tested it. And I was able to I was actually able to play it on my computer because, you know, I could play it on my spare Windows XP laptop that my sister used to use that we kind of taken over, but I couldn't play it on my actual laptop, my Windows 7 laptop, because lol, that's what you do. You take away functionality and compatibility with computers. But I got stuck. I'm at the part where you have to send like the telegrams, and I just don't really know what to do. So I kind of stopped. But, you know. And speaking of PC games, I've also been playing Mountain Blade Warband because I got the collection from Target a while ago. I was like, oh, I've heard about this series. I want to give it a try. And it's actually not that bad. A character customization is not perfect. It's okay. I did have to kind of make a sacrifice and give my guy orange hair like I had to do in Dungeon Lords, another old PC game that I have. But the gameplay's nice too. I find the whole thing, the way you attack, I find to be kind of weird because there's a bit of a delay to it because I think like your character has like a charge, and it's almost like a frame rate kind of thing, or like frames kind of thing, because like your character, he'll put up his sword and then like you click it and like he puts up his sword and then he like swings it down kind of. I just threw my mouse. But he would do that kind of stuff, and you know, it was because I don't really like it that much. The general gameplay is fun. I like sort of like the exploration and traveling aspect of it, and like the getting your army. And I feel like I've gotten kind of good at the game. Like I was able to win one of the tournaments and get into the feast of this one king that I could talk to, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I kind of play it off and on. It's fun, but you know, it's not bad. And I've also been playing Warcraft 3 because I've been playing that off and on as well. It's probably my favorite RTS. My favorite traditional RTS. I just got to chapter 6 of the Night Elves. You know, the one where you have Illidan, and Arthas shows up and he's like, "What up, bitch?" And so I've been playing that. And I don't know if you consider it cheating or not, but I figured out the cheat code to have it to where you automatically lose, and I do that so that I could reduce the difficulty because I generally find normal mode kind of too hard because I'm not really an RTS player. I feel like I'm getting better at the game, but I feel like I'm still not good enough to like play multiplayer and actually like be able to win. And that was the main reason why I played the campaign, because I feel like, you know, it's, you know, obviously it's using the same assets from that the multiplayer uses in order to do stuff, but I feel like I could do a lot more in the campaign. And plus I just kind of wanted the story and like a single player experience and a more RPG like experience as well, because this game does have it. So I've been doing that. I've been doing the cheat code to where I automatically lose and choosing reduced difficulty. I still try it with the normal difficulty because they really only give you normal and hard, which I wish they would give you easy. I don't like that you have to like lose, because what if you're just not really that good at RTS games? Like, you know, I think it's more fair to have like easy, normal, and hard. Like, I don't think it needs to get any more complicated than that, personally. But it's still fun. And this is kind of sad, especially when once I do a certain video. But I bought Diablo 2 off of the Blizzard store for $10 because I'm like, I want to give this game a try. And it's funny because I just took back Arc the Lad, End of Darkness from GameFly, and I'm getting Diablo 3 for PS4, so I'll probably do a video on that. And I actually uninstalled Diablo 2. I didn't really like it too much, honestly. I'm not a real big fan of the whole point and click uh, battle system. I know that's a standard for these isometric action RPGs, and I really like them, and I would love to play more, but I feel like I'm more used to like Champions of Norath or something where you can actually kind of control it a bit better. And I haven't played the PC version of Diablo 3, so I don't know if they've improved on things. I played a demo of the PS3 version, so I kind of know a little bit about how it works, and I've been more pleased with it. And the character, I really just wish these kind of games had actual character customization, because I'm going to be talking about another game in a minute that I also played. But overall, I wasn't really too into Diablo 2 that much. I know a lot of people are going to be like, heresy, that's sacrilegious. Even, especially since I like Champions of Norath, and Champions of Norath is very much a Diablo clone. But Diablo 2, I also bought the alpha for Grim Dawn, which, even though it was point and click, I actually really liked it. Because one, you can hold down the A button to move, so you can kind of have a bit of like more controlled movement that way. But also, unlike Diablo 2, when you're attacking and you're holding down, the right mouse button, if you move the mouse cursor in a different direction, your character will change towards that direction, which I like because sometimes you end up fighting like a bunch of enemies. And honestly, I just think Grim Dawn plays a lot better. Again, I do wish it had character customization. I heard they might do a console version, or they're at least thinking about it, but they're trying to actually finish the game first. And I'm not real big on the steampunk, though I do like the mix of steampunk and fantasy. I feel like that's kind of what attracted me to this game, that it was sort of like a mix, because if it was just steampunk, I probably wouldn't have played it. But it's decent. I really like it. I haven't really been playing too much of it, but it's the most recent out of these. In terms of console games, one game that I kind of finished was Dragon Age Awakening, the expansion to Dragon Age Origins. I played on the PS3, and I mainly played it because a friend really wanted me to play it for our podcast, because we were doing a Dragon Age review series, which I still need to work on Dragon Age 2. But this game, it was okay. I liked the expanded. I liked how the story, it seemed kind of like a separate issue than the whole Darkspawn thing. It was still kind of related to the Darkspawn. I liked how I brought over my character, and I liked the team that I had assembled. And it was a lot shorter than the main story. I didn't do any of the side quests because I just wanted to play through the main story, and I liked sort of like the holding court system that you had, because you would go to like your main base and these people would show up to you and be like, help me with this, like crops or whatever. I kind of liked that aspect of it because it's one of my favorite aspects in The Sims Medieval, for example. So I liked that, and I liked how if you just didn't know what to do, you could have your butler be like, can you handle this? I liked that. I generally liked the game, but I just felt like it didn't entirely connect too well with either Dragon Age 1 or 2. I felt like it was just one of those instances where if you just wanted more to the story, or if you just wanted more story to play, whether it connects to the series or not, I felt like, and that's fine, but I felt like, it didn't really amount to anything. It was kind of just there. Though I've heard Dragon Age 2 kind of does the same thing, though. We'll see. There are some things about Dragon Age 2 that I like and things that I don't like, so we'll have to see. And one game that I've been kind of having a bit of fun with lately is Super Mario 3D Land on my 3DS. I've been playing that off and on. And of course, if you've seen my channel, I did a stream for Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, which I also enjoy. But I like this one. I like the way the camera's set up because I like how the it seems more like Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine to me, where it's not like you're not like this tiny Mario in like this big space. I kind of like how the camera's a little more zoomed in, I guess, or the levels seem smaller. And even though it's just Mario, I still enjoy it. And the level designs are fun. It kind of reminds me of like the moments where you don't have FLUDD in Super Mario Sunshine, where you have to do like little obstacle courses. Those are kind of fun. I actually like it. I need to finish it. I think I'm on like World 5 or something. I don't remember. Not like level 5, but like the 5th collection of levels. I don't remember. I'll have to play it again sometime. I've been playing different games, but yeah. That's more or less all I've been doing. I will say, like I said, there is this may be the last one, unless you guys really want me to do like more vlogs. I might change up how I do them though. It might just end up being like just a podcast like thing, or just like a live action kind of thing with like a webcam or something. And it'll be more, the anime reviews, they'll start being more of a thing. And yeah, so, and I'll probably make a playlist for all of the Wheneverly updates so you can watch them all back to back and learn about how I didn't really know how to do audio that much. And I'll even include the one I did on my second channel, which was like 20 something. But and I also will say one thing. I did get a professional voice acting opportunity that I was able to do. I probably shouldn't talk too much about it. I don't know if I'm under embargo or not, which I guess is kind of bad. But it was like an actual like professional thing, so I guess I'm professional now. It wasn't like big, and I don't even know if people will get to see it that much. We'll have to see how things go, but I did get something, so that's cool. And of course, with my actual like first job, I'm getting some work experience, and I did submit one of my short stories to another journal a while ago, and they recently closed their submission, so I've been kind of waiting on them to let me know whether or not it got in. And like I said, I've been writing a lot and trying to play my games, and I feel like I need to finish Bloodborne. And stuff's coming up, and I'll have a link to my Twitch, my podcast, and I guess the first blog maybe. Something. We'll have to see. But yeah. That's more or less it. This one's kind of long. These are my more longish videos, but I tend to ramble because I go unscripted. But like I said, I did kind of have to like look at what I wrote about the anime on my blogs. I wrote about them, so I had to like refresh myself. But yeah, thanks for watching, and the Boost Fury Let's Play is gonna keep going, and I'll probably do more videos. I got a few games I need to finish and do videos on, and I'll probably do a video on Diablo 3, and want to try and finish up the rest of my commentaries because, like the Wheneverly updates, those are probably going to go too. But yeah, you'll just have to wait and see how everything goes. So yeah, this is Flamsaron, aka YouTube Tasuke, signing out. Goodbye.